right, good morning. It's about 3:30 in the morning here in Illinois. That would probably be typical Jenny time to wake up in the past. And it still is kind of a typical Jenny time to wake up. The difference is most of the time now, instead of waking up and staying up and being able to stay up the whole day, I wake up, I remedicate, and I go back to sleep. So, what happens sometimes, like many of us, is my mind begins to go and go. So, I'll probably yawn throughout this because I'm a little tired. I have this rule that if I can't fall back to sleep, like within, 15, 20, 30 minutes, I just wake up and do or say or write or whatever is on my mind, because then it gets it out of my mind and then I can go back to sleep or just have a more peaceful mind. Usual Jenny fashion, I have my thoughts written down. It's 3 a.m. so they're handwritten, so I'll probably be looking down and coming back up. Yesterday was April 1st, 2025, my birthday. I became 51 years old. Today is April 2nd. I'm hoping to post this on Wednesday, but I've had a lot of guests and things like that this week, and things to do, so it might be Thursday. We'll see. So what I want to do is I want to say that overall I'm doing okay for the most part. My vitals are pretty good. I have a lot of my symptoms under control for the most part. But I don't have them, I am going to have symptoms because I have cancer and I'm on hospice. Some of my symptoms that I'm still working on sometimes is constipation or not really wanting to eat too much. Sometimes the symptoms reveal themselves a little bit more as the day and night goes on, and then at night is when I really med up the most, as I've said in past videos. But I haven't needed to use my oxygen or anything, and when I do med up, and when I'm sleeping, as I've said in past videos, I'm generally pretty comfortable. So a lot of times I want to sleep because that's when I'm the most comfortable. I'm also going to go into a topic during this weekly check, and then I am going to end with some overwhelming appreciation and gratitude and shout outs. So that'll be the second part of this video that I'll do at another time. So the main part of this video is to kind of get into the topic kind of the week and how I'm feeling on my journey. All right, so the topic is dying is a very intimate experience, because you have to be vulnerable. And because of having to be vulnerable, as this journey continues and as it's getting shorter, I am starting to feel that withdrawal of really only wanting to be with the people who are in my innermost intimate circle to be around me the most. And here's kind of why. Now it doesn't mean that I'm totally closed off to having visitors who might not be in my innermost circle, but close to me still. The main reason why is because I think I've said this in the past, but I'll just review it one more time. I will generally wake up at like 3 or 3 a.m. I'll remedicate. Sometimes I'll take another Lazapram, and that really kind of knocks me out, and I might end up sleeping until 7, 8, 9 in the morning. And as this journey continues, who knows? It might be 10 in the morning. So definitely my sleep is increasing. By the time I wake up, I still do check my emails and my social media. But then I move into the next part of my day, which is doing my medical things, which is an enema, and taking a shower. And that takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of time. That takes like 2 hours. So let's say I wake up, you can do the math. If I wake up at 7 and it might take an hour for me to check emails and stuff, that's 8. Then it takes me 2 hours to do my medical things. That's 10 o'clock. And again, you can adjust that, right? So like if I wake up at 9, like I did yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, and then I'm checking my emails till 10, well, I'm not out of the shower or anything until noon. And then around noon or 11, I will eat something small. And between all of that energy I just spent, even if I slept 12 hours that day, digestion takes a huge amount of energy. It's like I eat, and as soon as I eat, whoa, I'm done. And I might sleep in my chair if people are around. There are other times where if people aren't around, my bed's more comfortable, so I'll come back downstairs and sleep. And I might be out again until 3 or 5 p.m. And then when I wake up between 3 and 5, and then I start getting ready for bed again around 7:30 or 8. So that's a really short window of time when I'm actually awake and probably open for visitors. So that is a switch, because in the past I was the most awake in the morning, and now I'm the most awake in the evening. And it's such a short window of time. So that's another reason why, because just a lot of my day is just taking care of myself. Now the good thing is that I am still very independent, considering hospice terms. I am able to still take care of my own medications, and I still am mobile, even if it's a limited mobile, but I'm still mobile, and I'm still able to bathe myself and take care of all my needs. So that's the good thing. But I'm not even going to call it a bad thing. The hospice thing is that I'm a lot more tired, and I am sleeping more. And I think it's weird if people, I don't mind being asleep around the people I'm most interested with, like in my chair. If people are in the living room and talking, I'm okay. But I would feel weird if somebody came to visit, and sometimes I feel a lot of pressure if someone is visiting to try to be awake. And so it just takes the pressure off of me if people aren't visiting, and that I can just sleep and rest. But again, it's not as much of a concern for me for the people who are in my most intimate circle. Let's see. Talked about those points. Okay. So for the people who aren't in my innermost circle and my most intimate circle, one of the things that I thought about doing is setting up a caring bridge again. I need to look into that. I haven't looked into it for a long time. So give me a week to look into that. And I will be reaching out, to at least a person or two who is already asked to visit, and I don't have the caring bridge set up. So I will reach out to those people and kind of set up a little bit of a time. But maybe next week I will launch or show people how they can set up a time with me if they would actually like to physically visit. So again, I need to look at CaringBridge again, or maybe some other app where people could maybe sign up for a time. Now, even with that, the one thing I've said in pretty much every video is the most consistent thing about this is the inconsistency. So, for example, last week when my mom and my son were visiting, we were supposed to go out for lunch one day. My medical things did not go well. I did not feel well, and I ended up sleeping most of the day. And they were very gracious. We adapted. They went and got their lunch and brought it in, and I had a little snack. And then luckily the next day I felt better and we were able to go out for lunch. So the consistent thing is the inconsistency. Although there are some ways I'm trying to make it consistent through keeping a really tight schedule of my meds and thinking really hard about what I'm eating and what I'm putting into my body. And there are some patterns. I would say it is pretty consistent that I am up and feeling my best somewhere between 3, 4, 5 in the late afternoon or evening until about 7 or 7:30. Then that's when I start winding down again with my first round of meds before bedtime, which are mostly digestive. And then I generally come down and I do that in my chair in the living room. And then I come down to my bed probably around 8 to 9 p.m. And a lot of times I just play silly games and let my meds kick in. And then during the 8 to 9 period, I'm taking my second dose of meds, which is more like pain relieving and helping me sleep. And then I'm down again by 9. So anyway, I'm going to try to set up like a sort of CaringBridge or something like that if people would like to sign up for slots to visit or find other ways to help. The other thing that people can do that I've really enjoyed is text messaging or social media messaging is the best way for me to be able to communicate. Either if you have my phone number through an actual text, Facebook Messenger is another way I communicate. I also communicate through WhatsApp. I'll also respond to TikTok and YouTube comments. I haven't been on TikTok as much lately. I post a lot of stuff on YouTube. So that is also kind of inconsistent based on if I have a lot of visitors during the week. Like I did last week, I didn't post hardly anything. If I don't have a lot of visitors, then that gives me more time to put stuff on social media. So text messages is one of the best ways to support me because then I can message you back when I am awake and feeling better on my time. So I think that covers the first part about how dying is a very vulnerable and intimate experience. Part of that is, sharing things that, most people don't want to go through or even hear about sometimes, but you're okay sharing those things with your family members. I'm sure most people would understand even if I talked about some of the things that I have to do and go through. But yeah. So now the second part of this video, which I'll film later, is I'm going to kind of go around my house and show all the ways that people have supported me. And I might do one more thing before I do that. So I know, and I really appreciate all the flowers that have been sent to me. But for those of you who know me, they're beautiful. There's a part of me that really likes it because it is cold outside still. And so the inside of my house is almost like a mini garden sometimes. So that's really nice. But I think if people are going to send flowers, I like the idea of like a potted flower. Sorry, I thought I could do that before my furnace kicked in. A potted flower that I could actually take and then actually plant in my garden. Because what makes me so sad is these beautiful flowers will be around for like 2 weeks. And then I never throw them away. I never put them in the garbage. I always put them back into my garden. Like Mother Earth gave those flowers to you and me. So I want to give it back to Mother Earth. But I think what would be even more beautiful if people want to send flowers or something like that, please don't feel like you need to. I don't need them. But maybe flowers that I can plant in my garden. And then I think what would be really neat about that is, I think they're called perennials. Not very good at it. Especially if they're like tulips or something like that, and they come back year after year, then that's also kind of neat for my family to see those flowers come up every year too. So that might be another idea as well. But what I am going to do now is show you some of the beautiful things, the wonderful things, a few shout outs that people have given to me and shown me. I am very overwhelmed at the amount of support, and I thank you very much. Whether it's just a text message, or the flowers, or a painting, or a letter. When I first wake up in the morning, this is my, this is what I see. And so in a minute, when I show you all the cards, one of my ideas is to take all the cards that I have on this table that I got and put them up on this wall. So they're the first thing I see when I wake up. One of the ideas that came from is I put this beautiful painting that my friend Becky made for me down here. And I thought it made the space just a little bit more pretty and nice. Alright, so this is my card table. We started putting them there. There's the bucket. It's the morning. I haven't. Every morning I put stuff in it that I need to bring downstairs, and then I put it in there when I need to go upstairs. But anyway, it's next to my chair so that I can see them. And, you know, like I got this beautiful card from my aunt and my uncle. I got a few balloons. This one I thought was so sweet. It was from my healthcare attendant, actually. And I got some flowers from my son's girlfriend. And there are just cards upon cards upon cards. That's why I want to put them on the wall downstairs, just because there are so many. I also put some on my living room table. Of course, I said these two things here were from my Keller family. And then these were from like my sons and my husband. That was from my aunt and uncle, Steve and Pauline. You might notice a theme of like butterflies and flowers. My mom also made me this cute little mini garden in front of my window with butterflies and flowers. And I'm hoping some of those flowers will be able to go into my garden this spring and summer. Alright, good Thursday morning. That's probably when I'm going to edit and post this. I was a little busy this week to make it a Wednesday weekly update. In regard to the butterfly, my first spirituality was Ojibwe. And I went to language tables and moon ceremonies and sweat lodges. And I got a medicine name, which is Azoa Mamengiwa, which is like a yellow or golden butterfly. And it came about that butterflies look as though they have a random pattern. But actually, it's not true. They have a very specific pattern. So even though my life might have been unstable or chaotic, or maybe at times looked like it didn't have a pattern, in the end, I had a very specific place to go and be, which I think I did learn through things I've talked about, like forgiveness and unconditional love and the value of stability and all of those things. So my hope and wish for you is that when you experience the chaos of life sometimes, when life seems random or out of order, eventually, when you get to a certain place, you can look back and you can find the order, you can find the lesson, and learn the value of what might have seemed like a turbulent time. Also, I did find a way for people to help or schedule visits or something like that. So if you're interested in that, let's take a look at that next. I checked out Caring Bridge, and it didn't have a lot of the features that it used to have back in 2014 when I first started to use it. So I Googled some various apps or websites, and I found mylotsofhelpinghands.com. So I created an account. And what I like about it is that it has a home page where you can kind of see everything. There is a calendar, and there are different tasks on the calendar. It has like a general welcome to the page. It has things like the open tasks. There's notes and things that I've put in there already. People can add well wishes to it. They can add photos. So if this is something you would like to be a part of, to schedule a visit or anything else, please email either myself or my husband. I will put a link to the app. I'm not sure if you can sign up on your own, but I'll put a link to it just in case you can. And if for some reason you can't, you can just email my husband and I. Just send us a message with your email, either in a text or through Facebook, and then we will add you to our team members here. So there we go. We do have a way now of scheduling appointments and all those other things through mylotsofhelpinghands.com. Thank you for joining me this week, and I hope to see you next week.